Richard, Stanford-le-H and Corringham Town, what are the issues you're finding on the doorstep?
Well, one of the main issues we're talking about a lot in Corringham is policing, antisocial behaviour. That's something that's come up an awful lot when I've been talking to people on the doorstep in the Thurrock estate. Obviously, with the closure of Corringham Police Station, that's a huge issue locally and something that people are coming back to me on the doorstep and talking about.
But you're talking about policing. Essex Police did the survey and said the police station's not really necessary.
I think people value the service they get from the police station. They value the fact that there are police in their local community that they can go to, that they can respond to the problems that they have. And I mean, you talk about somewhere like the Thurrock estate just behind me, where they're having huge problems with antisocial behaviour, criminal damage being done to properties. And where do they go? I mean, it's all very well saying that you can ring the police up, but that doesn't make people feel safer in their homes or in their community.
Guys, here in 2012, they're talking about things shutting. Can you sort something out for me? The library behind you, is it shutting?
No, it's not shutting. Despite what you might hear from some other political campaigners in this election campaign, there are no plans to close Corringham Library at all.
So why, I guess it's a question for others, so why would somebody moot the idea that it might be shutting?
You have to ask them that. I mean, there was we for the first time in recent history put together a list of assets that the council own, knowing the buildings that the council actually own, which I think is a fundamental part of being responsible about the management of the council, and some political parties have misinterpreted that, potentially for political gain. I don't know, I wouldn't like to speculate, but quite categorically no.
Sometimes in local ward elections, sometimes it's national issues, sometimes it's local issues. We talk about national issues. Are there people hurting out there on the doorstep? People who may have lost their jobs, or their jobs are in danger?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people who are feeling the pinch, not only in terms of jobs. I mean, there's a huge jobs crisis in Thurrock. Unemployment is at record levels throughout the borough. And it has an knock-on effect here in Stanford as well. You're talking about changes to child benefit, which are going to see some families thousands of pounds a year worth of. Pension tax changes that were announced recently in the budget, where pensioners are going to be paying more in income tax every year. I mean, it's very, very difficult for people out there at the moment because the budgets are being squeezed, inflation is high, and people just don't have the disposable income they have. It's very difficult for people.
Every candidate seems to be getting a great vibe on the doorstep. Nobody ever says to me it's terrible, but what vibe are you getting on the doorstep?
A great vibe. No, genuinely, and I think people say because, at least in my experience, it's true. People have been very interested in what we've got to say and the Thurrock Labour Party plans for Thurrock. They're concerned about the national issues we're talking about, particularly policing. Very, very concerned indeed, and that's what comes across on the doorstep for me.
It's a key ward. It's one of 3 wards. People might say Ockenden, Stanford-le-H, South East, and Stanford-le-H and Corringham Town. Do you feel the pressure?
No, I don't think so. It's an important ward to win. It's not important just for the control of the council, but it's also important in terms of giving the people of Stanford-le-H and Corringham Town a local representative they can go to and someone who's going to fight their corner. It's important in those regards, and that's the way that I'm looking at the campaign.
You're confident?